What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Night 2 of WrestleMania 38. And, yo, I gotta say, I think, low-key, I might have enjoyed this show more. I will say, I think maybe Night 1 had an overall better card, and maybe you could even say maybe overall better matches, because, yeah, there were a lot of done matches in this one, ones that are quick, ones I didn't really care for, ones that were fine, but the highs of this night, I would dare say, were probably higher than the highs of last night. And the overall entertainment value, I thought was a lot. I felt like I got more enjoyment overall out of this fight, especially from the Sami Zayn match. Sasha's WrestleMania losing streak is finally over. The curse is finally broken, ladies and gentlemen. You have no idea how happy I was when I saw her get the 1, 2, 3. I was celebrating, screaming my goddamn hammer. Y'all know I was tweeting like a madman when that happened, man. I was losing my goddamn mind. But yeah, both these nights were equally fantastic nights of wrestling, and like I said, this and probably even last year were the best WrestleManias we've gotten since that WrestleMania 31, man. But yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's just jump right into the actual show. So we started the show off with the game, Triple H. And this was basically him doing his, his formal retirement. Like, he left his boots in the middle of the ring and everything. And yeah, it was a great way to start the show. He welcomed everyone to Welcome to WrestleMania! And it's sad to honestly see him retire, especially when Cody just got here, because it would have been so cool to see Cody and Triple H go at it. NXT versus AEW. Would have been cool, but obviously Triple H's heart had other plans. But yeah, man, great. But yeah, this was an amazing opening, and yeah, now Triple H is now formally retired from in-ring competition. So the first match we actually had was the Raw Tag Team title match between RK Bro, the Street Profits, and Chad Gable American Alpha Academy. That's the Alpha Academy. Some of their names. And Otis. Yeah, Otis. There we go. For somebody on his name for some reason. This match was awesome. As you guys know, there was a lot of fucking batshit insane spots in this match. So we started the show. So we started the match off with Matt Riddle, Tess, as well as Chad Gable, which I don't know when this got added on Alpha Academy's entrance theme, but now but you have Chad doing the sheesh, but it's like auto-tuned. So that was pretty fun when I heard, because that was like the first one I heard. I don't know if that was something that's been on their theme for a while now. I barely pay attention to Raw. I'm usually working on other shit while Raw is on, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. But yeah. So they started off in a event, and you had Chad, of course, shushing everybody, and then you have Tess just bam, Walter fucking chops his ass, and I think it was Corey on card saying he did that, he slapped him like he owed him money, and so they go at it. You also had Chad doing a moonsault over the top rope once everyone on the outside. Everyone got in the ring. It was complete chaos. You had the vintage Orton thing, the drinking DDT, but it was stereo because both Matt Riddle and Randy Orton did at the same time. You had Randy Orton getting a hot tap, but of course the two most batshit insane spots was Matt Riddle hitting an RKO from the fucking top rope. The top goddamn rope. I was like, what the hell? And then you had, I think it was Chad Gable, or it might have been Tess, jumping from the top rope and Randy catching up with an RKO from midair, bro. I'm like, how does he even pull these off? How does he fucking time this shit? How does Randy perfectly time these RKOs? Seriously, how does he do it? But yeah, man, this was an amazing match and an awesome way to start off the show. Next up, we had Almost versus Bobby Lashley. I'm gonna be real, I didn't even watch this match. In fact, when this match was on, because I just didn't care, I went and grabbed dinner while this match was on. Yeah, nothing. Apparently, it seems like I didn't miss anything. Anyway, Bobby Lashley won this match with I believe a spear to the back to Almost finally being the one that conquered Almost undefeated streak. Ooh. Next! So next up was Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Now, I will say this off the bat, straight away to the record. This match was dumb as hell. This match was dumb as hell, and I would say that this match probably didn't belong on WrestleMania card. Just given what it is. But while this match was dumb as hell, I was thoroughly entertained from start to finish. This was an awesome match. I loved this match by way more than I thought I was. This match fucking up. And yo, we all take a moment? We all gotta take a moment real quick and give a massive shout out to Sammy. That man is true. For because there are not many people that would actually agree to doing this shit. Let's be real. And Sami Zayn did. That man is a fucking trooper. Whatever the fuck, I'm with JD on this one. Whatever the fuck WWE Vince is paying this man better be getting a WrestleMania bonus. A Johnny Knoxville jackass bonus for doing this match. Because he fucking deserved this man put 100% in this match. And shout out to Sami Zayn for doing that, man. Because you know not a lot of people do that. So shout out to him, and I hope my man fuck, I can't think of the word. Whatever. I hope he gets a bonus. I hope he does indeed get a bonus for this match. Now, so we started the match off. We actually where Sammy was instantly gave Johnny Knoxville a Helluva Kick. He started fucking around with some of the Jackass members, and I believe on commentary they mentioned that all the Jackass crew was there apparently from Jackass Forever, which I still want to watch it. I still haven't seen it yet. Because Minor wasn't screening it here, so when I get back, I'm most likely watching it to get back. Or have my mom pick it up from Redbox or something. But yeah. Anyway, he's good. But like they said, like the entire like Jackass crew there. I didn't see Steve-O. Steve-O was, and Steve was like the only other member of Jackass I actually know by name other than like Wee Man. I legit mostly because I haven't seen any of the Jackass movies in like years. Like I think the last time I saw them was when I was like 13, 14-ish, maybe 2013-ish, I think it was, when they were on Netflix at the time. I honestly can't remember, but so that's why I don't really remember much of the shit and met these girls outside of those three guys. Funny story. I actually met Wee Man actually. Well, kind of. When I was in Bahrain on the base, they had like this little like event going on there where they had like T-Pain, a bunch of other celebrities. There was like a signing or whatever, and I got the sheet that had all the celebrities on it, and Wee Man was one of them. So I have his signature, But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Just a little fun fact for y'all. From my time when I was in Bahrain. But yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, he started fucking around with the Jackass crew. And he started pulling in all this, and they started pulling all this random shit. And for shout out to Johnny Knoxville, he took some pretty good bumps through. He went through a table. He got hit with like cookie sheets and crutches and shit, man. A lot of shit. So shout out to Johnny Knoxville. He also definitely showed up to work as well for this match. He did not half-ass this shit. And also probably because it's his job. We all know Johnny Knoxville is one crazy motherfucker. The fact this man is still alive and breathing is a miracle from the shit he has put himself through in those Jackass movies. But anyway, so he's like throwing on like these cookie sheets and all this other shit in the match, and all this other stuff. Then eventually, then he like tries to grab me out from underneath and then like shocks him, or like it's like shit. And then he goes in there and it's like it's literally a table full of mouse traps. Yes, you heard that right. A table that had a bunch of like dozens of mouse traps super glued to the motherfucker. This had to have been Johnny Knoxville's idea with the fucking table, because this is something that you would see in a Jackass skit. And you actually had Pat McAfee mention on commentary like, as someone who had to deal with the girl in the house with those things are the devil. Which one thing I want to mention about the commentary real quick, that this actually kind of irked me. Because I don't know because I'll probably otherwise forget about this. Also, I never mentioned this, but like Mark Wahlberg did the intros for these two shows, like introduced the show. Both of them I thought were really enjoyable, man. I remember when I first saw Mark Wahlberg was introduced, I was like, Mark Wahlberg, okay. And he was great, man. He was awesome. But anyway, as I was saying, with the commentary, there was this one part of the match. This is when they were still kind of building up to the Pat McAfee match. And he was saying, "Oh, I'll be with you guys," and being able to commentates, and had a match at WrestleMania. And he called Michael Cole the GOAT. Well, in that same sentence, he mentioned JR. Bruh. I get it. Michael Cole is your boy. I get it. You guys are probably really tight and really good friends. If you are as big of a wrestling guy as you say you are, Pat McAfee, There is no way in hell you think Michael Cole is generally a better commentator than JR, or hell, even more Ronaldo. There is no way you actually believe that. You know what? You actually think Michael Cole is a GOAT. Listen, Michael Cole is a good commentator. He has his moments, but he is nowhere near the level of JR or Marlo Ronaldo. Those are the top tier commentators, if you ask me. They are the peak of wrestling commentators. But that's just me. Anyway, I tweet about that as well because that shit really irked me when I heard it. Anyway, so like yeah, the table with the mouse traps on it. Eventually, he gets under the ring again, and it's fucking Wee Man that's under the ring. You also had what was his name, Party Man, I think it was, who reminded me of Big Dick Johnson because he like rips his clothes off and he's like shirtless, rocking a speedo. He's like thrusting over to Sami Zayn. And Sami's like, ew, get away from me. It also did remind me of Big Dick Johnson, which Jade actually mentioned him in his review. Seriously, how many of you seriously, if y'all remember Big Dick Johnson, man, he was some funny shit, man. That was a little before my time, but I've seen some clips of it, man. Like the one of them, this is the one I recently saw that was on YouTube, where DX shoved Eric Bischoff up his ass. That was very entertaining. Oh man, WWE was something else back in the Ruthless Aggression back when they were still TV-14, man. Low-key missed those days. Hell, I missed the fucking PG era back in like 2011, man. That shit was peak WWE. Anyway, getting off topic. So you had all that going on there. You had all that going on. With Wee Man. Eventually, Wee Man straight up body slams Sami Zayn. Yes, Wee Man, who, may I remind you, is a fucking midget. Body slams Sami Zayn, who was like, what, 6'3"? I don't know who did most of the work with it. I don't know if Wee Man is just legitimately that strong or Sami Zayn was doing some weird physics shit to keep him up. But either way, man, Wee Man hits a body slam on Sami Zayn, and it looked incredible. That was insane, man. But eventually, he also had like a fucking Johnny Knoxville using an air horn to stop Sanford using the Helluva Kick. You had Johnny Knoxville throw a bowling ball into Sammy's nuts. You had this fucking kick with a prosthetic leg mechanism thing that also got hit Sammy in his nuts. Seriously, Sammy's nuts got destroyed in this match. God help his nuts. God rest him. God rest him. This man is never having kids. But eventually, Sammy also goes to the mousetrap table, and we eventually end the match off with them getting this big ass mousetrap and basically firing it on Sami Zayn, and that's how Johnny Knoxville gets the 1-2-3. By the way, the crowd went insane this match. Like Wee Man and all the other members of Jackass got probably some of the biggest pops of the night, man. Seriously, it was absolutely insane. But yeah, this match, dumb as hell. You can make argument had no business being wrestling his car, but it was entertaining as hell, and I loved it from start to finish. So anyway, next up was the women's Fatal 4-Way match. This match was actually awesome. First off, we gotta talk about the entrances. Sasha Banks comes out in a fucking Lambo, which that alone is off. Then we see her outfit, and there is only one word to describe Sasha's outfit: Queen. Seriously, man, Makaze outdid himself with her outfit this time. She looked absolutely amazing with that cloak and everything. She looked great. Then, next up was Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. And before we talk about hers, I didn't think Liv could make herself any hotter than she already was. But then tonight she proved me wrong by dressing up as Catwoman. Jesus fucking Christ, she looked so fucking hot in that outfit. I'm not lying, man. Yes, I know I give Corey Graves for sipping on his woman. Let me sip a little bit. I don't do it that often, so let me sip. She looked amazing, man. Seriously, hot as fuck was that outfit. She dressed up as Catwoman, and upon closer inspection, it looked like she kind of mixed the Halle Berry movies outfit with Batman Returns in there, because I noticed the stitches of the Batman Returns, her legs, but on the top you had the belt things wrapped around her waist like it was in the Catwoman movie with Halle Berry. So it looks like she kind of mixed and matched those two designs, and it looked amazing. Seriously, like I said, she looked hot as fuck in that outfit, man, and Jesus Christ, this woman looked amazing in black leather. Could you please wear more black leather? So I have to do it. But she looks great. And then you had Rhea, who I believe was dressed as Batman because, the Batman came out, which Corey actually on commentary says, "Oh, it's Catwoman and Donnie Darko." To be fair, the mask looks very similar to the ears on the mask look very similar to Donnie Darko's. I'm also kind of surprised Corey Graves even knows what that movie is. If I was surprised, pal. Still haven't seen the movie myself though. One day I'll watch. One day I'll watch Donnie Darko. Anyway, so then the other two, so then Shayna and Natalya make the entrance along with the women's champ, which of course, Corey is sipping over us. Seriously, I swear to God, man, I've never really liked Corey Graves. I've always thought he was kind of obnoxious, and it seems like he might be a bit of an asshole because you know what happened with Morrow a couple of years ago with that tweet he did. So not really the biggest fan of Corey Graves. He's good at his job, but he's just not personally just not my type of content. I swear to God, man, this dude has gotten more obnoxious ever since they actually acknowledged the fact that they were dating in real life. Shit, this man won't shut up about Carmella. She's not even that hot, too, bro. Like, she is no Sasha Banks. She is no Liv Morgan. If it was Liv Morgan, then this would be a different story. But Carmella, she ain't all that to me. She's like Alexa Bliss. Very overrated with how hot people call her. She's not as attractive as people think she is. That's just my take on it. That's just my humble opinion. Anyway, so we started the match off with Rhea and Zelina Vega. Rhea was like moving her finger, like, yeah, come over here, bitch. Then she tags in Carmella's. Carmella's like, yeah, let's go. Then she tags in Sasha, and then he's like, I'm out. So then Sasha and Rhea have a test of strength. Obviously, Sasha lost this contest, and then we're off to the races. So you had Shayna doing her thing, but instead of like doing the thing where she like rips her hair thing out there and like bends the arm back and steps on it. She did it with Liv's foot, and Liv sold the shit out of it. It looked pretty nasty too. You had the Towers of Doom from Liv and Rhea that looked absolutely amazing. Sasha and Liv did double suicide dive on each side of the ring at a bunch of the other women. That looked amazing. They had their own little back and forth too, which also looked pretty good. Seriously, man, I know I mentioned before, but Liv has improved so much as a wrestler. Like, I swear to God, as she has gotten more and more attractive, she has become a better wrestler, which is all I can ask for. You're attractive and you're good at wrestling. I'd rather have someone that's better wrestler than more attractive, but I'm glad when I get to have both, like Sasha Banks and Liv Morgan. And Io Shirai, of course. You can't forget about Io. Hot damn, is she fine. But anyway, so they had their exchange. But then you had Liv, you had Sasha I think she did a brat break or something, or anything. She did this move with Naomi that she kicked out of, but Sasha transitions it into the bank statement. That was pretty cool. And then you had Zelina trying to pull her out there, but Naomi was also trying to pull out Zelina. Then Sasha gets out of the ring and hits a stunning meteor on Zelina. Seriously, that had been one of the best meteoras Sasha's also had. You also had fucking Shayna yeeting Rhea Ripley into the post. Seriously, she just ran right into that fucking thing, man. Damn near went out of the ring. So yeah, then we finally ended the match off with you had Sasha and Naomi doing this move together. I don't know what it is. Basically, Naomi pulled up. I believe it was Carmella, and then Sasha does a roll in the ring before going into a code breaker, basically to get the 1, 2, 3. Also, she also did the frog splash, obviously attributing to Eddie Guerrero. That was pretty cool. I believe that was actually the move that she did before when she transitioned over into the bank statement. But either way, man, she got the 1, 2, 3, and I was so fucking happy to see this because there were times in this match where I'm like, oh no, is Sasha gonna lose again? Is Sasha gonna lose? Because I was dead. Because you know how much I adore Sasha. She is my favorite women's wrestler on currently WWE, AEW, whatever. She is my favorite. And we all know about this bullshit losing streak she's had on WrestleMania. She is the anti-Undertaker. Instead of a winning streak, she has a losing streak because Vince refuses to acknowledge how great this woman is for whatever reason. He always oh, Charlotte, or whatever the fuck. I swear to God, this man has some beef with this woman or something. But she's been 6-0 or 0-6. So I was so happy to finally see her win. Yes, it's the women's tag titles. These belts are worthless, but I'm just glad to see Sasha finally winning at wrestling. I was so happy. You guys know, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was losing my goddamn shit, tweeting like a madman. It was awesome, man. I was so happy for Sasha, man. So fucking happy for her that she finally won at WrestleMania. So that was awesome. Next up we had was Edge and AJ Styles. This match was fucking incredible. Easily the best match on the card. So first off, we gotta talk about Edge's entrance. So this man comes out from underneath the ring on a throne with fire going away. It was very Undertaker-esque, even down to his like, which it's got and it wasn't just that, like his entire outfit was kind of Undertaker-ish with like the color scheme, like there was the black, the purple, and even like the logos on were very Undertaker. Like you had skulls, hands rising, just like the Undertaker and shit. It like I don't know if this was done on purpose, if Edge was purposely paid tribute to Undertaker because the Hall of Fame and Dallas and everything, or if this was just a coincidence. But like his gear was very Undertaker-esque along with his entrance. I've been really digging this new gimmick. The new track he's been using with from Ultra Bridge once again is also great as well. Man, love that song. Not Megalingus. That song's iconic, but this is also a fantastic track in its own right, man. I fucking love Ultra Bridge, man. They're my shit. Yeah. So then AJ Styles made it, and as most of you guys probably noticed, AJ was bleeding before the match even begun. Now, JD mentioned that apparently someone, I think he said like someone mentioned that apparently it was reported that that originally that most people thought was a pyro accident from that some of the pyro got in his face and made him bleed, but apparently what actually ended up happening, because this is at least what JD said in his review. I haven't really looked into this myself, but apparently he was already bleeding before the pyro went up. I tried to check and see if there was already blood there. I couldn't see anything, but apparently he like cut himself on like the big WrestleMania sign. I don't know how that's even possible, but whatever. But yeah, apparently cut it on the sign, either that or it was a pyro accident. Either way, the man was bleeding. Corey did mention this, did acknowledge it on commentary, but it was like never brought up again at all throughout the rest of the match. So we started with AJ going right after Edge, and Edge's like getting into the ropes, being like, ah, get him away, you know. And then we were off to the races, man. You had Edge going after him, going for a spear, but like he stopped just before he hit the turnbuckle. There was another time later on the match where AJ Styles literally was charging towards Edge and literally went face first into the second turnbuckle, man, and just ricochets right off of it, man. Seriously, that had her. Speaking of ricochets, you also had like Edge getting AJ Styles up into a powerbomb position, bounces him off the top rope before landing the actual powerbomb itself. That was pretty cool. You had AJ going for the springboard 450. Edge got the knees up, and that's what eventually became what Edge ended up focusing on throughout most of the match was his knees, or was his midsection, was AJ's midsection rather. He was going after that. Like AJ tried to do a toss, but then Edge ended up transitioning it into an abdominal stretch. Seriously, can we appreciate just how great of wrestlers AJ Styles and Edge are? They proved how great they are as wrestlers. His match counted. There were so many moves and how they like countered moves and transitioned them into other moves where I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys are both brilliant professional wrestlers, man. But anyway, you also had like AJ doing like this like DDT where you're like kind of similar to the one final beat that Johnny Gargano does. AJ Styles kind of did his version of it. It was a little bit different compared to Johnny Gargano. And like what he was doing in midair, man, it looked so fucking cool when he hit the move. You also had like Edge hitting like doing this move where he where he threw up his knees against AJ's arm and then you just get his close up on Edge's face, and bro, the look on this man's face was demonic. Fucking awesome, man. Fucking awesome. And so I'm sure there's probably a bunch of other spots that I'm missing. Edge did get in locking the STFU, which was fucking awesome. I always love a good shout out to John Cena. You guys know me, so that was pretty cool. He also locked in there. He also did this one cool, and one thing I noticed that was interesting, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do this, where Edge was going for a pin, and he was like, and they were like near the ropes, so AJ was able to grab the ropes. Edge noticed it a little bit before the ref did, and he instantly started to try and get his hand off of it. I probably tried to make sure the ref doesn't notice it, but I think it's the first time I've actually ever seen someone when they see their opponent go for a rope break, they actually try to get their hand off of him before the rope break, before the ref catches it, because I don't think I've ever seen it. Usually never even notice until after the ref notices, but this is the first time where they were actually trying to get him off of it before the ref even noticed. So that was pretty cool. And then he goes for like a pin right again once he gets his arm off there, but of course it was after near fall. You had AJ hitting the Styles and hitting the Styles Clash near fall. I honestly thought the match was probably going to be ending over there, but eventually eventually AJ's going for the phenomenal form, and Damian Priest is already there. He just like kind of looks at him, kind of confused and then goes for the phenomenal form, but he ends up just getting speared in midair. Man, looked amazing, and Edge ends up getting the 1, 2, 3. Fucking fantastic match. It was interesting to see it happen because JD in his review of week one of it was either in night one's review or his 10 review. He mentioned that he had like this theory of, you know, that there's a word on the street that Edge is going to be developing a new stable for his new heel character. And he mentioned Tommaso Ciampa and Dave Priest would be both perfect fits for them. And boom, on WrestleMania, there's Damian Priest. I even tweeted out, oh my God, his prediction was right. JD's prediction was right. I was actually shocked that he hit the nail right on the head there. So yeah, so who knows, maybe we will also be getting Ciampa to join the stable with AJ, with Edge. It would make sense. They both they obviously have history with each other. You know, we already know what's happened with them, and they had the same neck injury and everything he's done with NXT. So yeah, I'm down for Tommaso Ciampa to join the stable. I'd be down for that. It'd definitely be safe creatively, because at least then Edge is looking over him, not fucking Vince if he went in solo. But yeah, so this was a fantastic match. Easily the best match on the entire show, man. And yeah, just a fucking awesome match. Next up, we have the New Day versus Sheamus and Rich Holland with Pete Dunne, or excuse me, Butch, as he's called now. Fuck you, Vince. This match was fine. It was like 2 minutes or something. It wasn't that long. Apparently, this match got cut down for time. I mean, I would believe that because how quick this match was. So Biggie, both Kofi and Xavier Woods came out in singlets, obviously for Big E with the neck injury, which I saw the neck injury when they showed on WrestleMania because I missed it when it was on SmackDown. Jesus fucking Christ. Ooh, I was cringing when I saw it because he landed right on his neck, man. Ooh, that looked fucking nasty. But yeah, they came out in singlets. I'm gonna be real. Both of them look terrible in them. They definitely both look better in pants. if I'm guessing. But anyway, eventually the ref got distracted by Pete Dunne. I refuse to call him Butch. Sheamus got in a bro quick. Rich Holland hit his finisher move, and they got the 1, 2, 3. And then Pete Dunne just started beating the shit out of Xavier Woods, and that was the end of that match. Fine for what it is. Like I said, guys, the highs for this night I thought were higher than the highs of last night, but I will say the lows of this match were lower than the lows of last night. I will say that much. And this was definitely the low point of the show for me personally. So then we had Pat McAfee going up against Austin Theory. First off, I gotta say, this annoyed the shit out of me. In the promo package right before the match, they were talking like, oh, Pat McAfee, he's a big WWE fan, you know, NFL, he's wanted to do this after he retired, he started training, blah, 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 blah. Not once in this entire package do they even acknowledge NXT, his match with Adam Cole, or that little faction he had in War Games. Not a single goddamn mention. That irked the shit out of me. That really irked the shit out of me when I didn't see a single acknowledgement of NXT. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge your tribal chief. But yeah, that annoyed the shit out of me. Seriously. Vince, would it kill you to acknowledge NXT and hey, this isn't Pat McAfee's first match? Or even his second match? This is like his third match? Am I asking the impossible here? Whatever. Anyway, he makes his appearance with the Dallas Cowboys girl with the Dallas Cowboys cheer. By the way, fuck the Cowboys. Fuck them. Eventually, he makes his entrance down the ramp. He gets like a football with the Dallas Cowboys logo on it. Fuck the Cowboys. And he like punts that motherfucker all the way inside the back row, man. Just like, that motherfucker can kick. He can kick. So the match begins. Obviously, Austin Theory goes into the rope, be like back away, and eventually they start going at it. Pat gets like this flying elbow, spinning elbow in. He gets a couple other moves in, but Austin Theory's just kind of taking over a little bit more of the first half match, and eventually it switches around. They get where Pat like just yeets Austin Theory all the way over to the announce table. And first, another thing that I thought was weird about this match, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the match itself was fucking awesome. And what happens afterwards was probably the most shocking thing of the entire fucking night, outside of Cody Rhodes' return. So he yeets him down to the ground, and then that's when Pat puts his headset back on, and be like, "Yo, what up? I beat the shit out of Austin Theory. My parents look the other boy beating the shit out of a douchebag." And he like grabs like this glass of water that is like ice and cold water and like throws it on top onto Austin Theory because of what happened on SmackDown earlier on a couple weeks when he like threw some soda in his face. Also, I think I've already mentioned this. Michael Cole was uncharacteristically hyped up for this match. Like, my man was like, "Come on, Pat! Come on, Pat!" Like, I'm like, bro, did someone give this man? I even tweeted out, who the hell gave Michael Cole espressos before the match began? Like, this man has never used this hyped up during a match. I expect this from Mauro Ranallo, not Michael Cole. Seriously, and like, yo, he was like the most over guy on the show too. Was Pat McAfee. I don't know why he was so over. This isn't Indianapolis. This isn't Pittsburgh. It's fucking Dallas. Fuck the Cowboys once again. The Colts. Yeah, they got the same color scheme, but that's about it. Fuck the Cowboys once again. I don't know why he was so over, but it was literally, he was like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 levels of over. Everyone was singing his song, even when it wasn't on. Like, while the match was going, they were still humming it. Like, was it the song? Was it the song that got him so over? Or do people just genuinely like him that much? I don't know. Maybe it's because Cowboys, football, he was a Colts. I don't know. Did he play college in Dallas or something? I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, look, whatever that was about. Eventually, the match continues on. They get back into the ring. Vince was by the commentary desk watching this along, and then they get back in the ring. Austin Theory gets on the top rope. He tries to suplex Pat, but he like gets out of it. He once again does that backflip thing he did. Like, I remember when I saw that at Takeover, I was like, what the fuck? And then like when he like leaps over to the top rope and does a superplex. Like, I remember how shocked I was when I first saw that at Takeover, and it still looks amazing when he did it here. He also did that swanton. This man has the most beautiful swanton dive I have ever seen that isn't from Jeff. Like, the man looks like he's fucking floating. It looks brilliant swanton, which he also, by the way, completely missed on. So you had that. As the match continues on, eventually Pat McAfee gets the roll up for the 1, 2, 3. As the match ends, Pat McAfee celebrates. He's talking his shit to Vince and Austin Theory, and Vince starts teasing about him getting. He slowly takes his jacket off but puts it back on. But then eventually he starts getting close to the ring. Eventually, he does take off his jacket takes out his cufflinks and like takes his dress shirt off, revealing he's still rocking that black wife beater from the 90s. Seriously, I remember I was watching this like, yo, am I about to watch Vince wrestle? What, am I back in 2011 when he's facing up against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 26? Like, what the fuck's going on? He gets in the ring and like, yo, I gotta say, even Vince is like, what, 76 years old right now? The man still looks as jacked as he was back in the 90s. What the fuck is this man on? This man has to be using some steroids. No way he can get that big naturally at his age. Or maybe he can. If that's all natural and he can do the nets and that's just how his body is, God bless him. But I guarantee you at his age, he's using steroids to get that big still. Seriously, Godspeed to that man. I wish every 76-year-old man looks as good as Vince McMahon. I can't stand him creatively, but I'll give him his props. This man fucking lifts. I'll give him props for his exercise routine. So then they actually go, and of course, there's a lot of cheating involved. Of course, Austin Theory is getting involved while Vince is doing his thing. Eventually, Vince ends up getting the 1, 2, 3 to win the match. So yeah, we get 50-50 booking on from Pat McAfee in the same night. Thanks, Vince. But then Stone Cold comes in there and this was fucking awesome, man. And then he gives Austin Theory a stunner, and I know other people mention this, but I gotta say here. Austin Theory now holds the distinct honor of being the guy that sells the stunner the best. For the longest time, we all know it was The Rock. The Rock sold the stunner the best, but nah, Austin Theory beats him, man. Seriously. He sold it brilliant. But then we get the best stunner, and then right after we get basically the worst stunner. I would probably still say Linda's stunner was a little bit worse, which I just watched a little bit before I started recording this, just to see which one, because I know JD mentioned, like, oh, Linda had the worst time. I looked at it. I think it might have been still worse because at least Vince didn't turn his head midway through it, you know? But anyway, he's like, but then he starts talking. It's like, hey, you want a beer? He like tells the timekeeper to throw him some beers. He gives Vince his beer, and so he like drinks sips a little bit of it, doing that thing where he's like tasting on his tongue and shit. And like, I believe it was either Byron Saxton or Cole said like, oh, he's a wine guy. And I'm like, didn't Jay? And I'm like, no, he's a whiskey guy. I remember because in an interview a while ago, JR mentioned that Tony Khan was a White Claw guy while Vince was a whiskey guy. Or maybe he did say wine, but I'm pretty sure he said whiskey. That Vince was a whiskey guy. So he's like, he's tasting his beer. He's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then eventually he gives Vince a stunner, and of course it looked absolutely fucking horrible. Like, it was like Vince completely lost his balance. Like, did my man instantly get drunk from that little sip of from Stone Cold's alcohol? Vince, why was he stumbling around so much, man? But yeah, man, that was fucking awesome. I never thought I would actually get to see Vince in a ring again. I thought, 2011 or 2010 rather, with Bret Hart, that'd be his last match. But now he's back, and he was back in the wife beater too. What fucking year is this, man? Did I actually get transported back to the 90s or something? Absolutely insane, man. Now, that brings us to the main event between your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. Now, you guys have most likely been hearing it online. A lot of people said, no, this match was shit. It was shit. I actually loved this match. I remember being thoroughly enjoying this match. Now listen, is this match anything new compared to any matches? No. Could you say, would you be right in saying the match from WrestleMania 31 was still their best match? Sure. And I probably would agree with him on that. But I personally loved this match and was thoroughly entertained by it. And I won't lie, there were a couple of times where I'm like, yo, are they actually going to give Brock the belts? Like, they had me worried a couple of times that they might actually give Brock the belt instead of Roman, because Brock was kind of on the offensive for a good chunk of the match. So, anyway, they both made their entrance. Paul Heyman makes his introduction for Roman, doing the whole reigning, defending, undisputed, universal heavyweight champion of the world, And Brock did his own introduction. They went at it, man, and Brock did four belly to belly suplexes in a row. Roman was getting a bunch of Superman punches, and they eventually go to the outside, and Brock is stalking Paul Heyman. He's like, Brock, I love you. It was all wrong. I fucking love Paul Heyman. And then Roman comes from behind and spears him through the fucking barricade, man. Fuck him. I will say, it would have been nice if we got some blood with this match. A match like this, there should have been blood. Especially what happened at MSG, there should have been blood. Don't know why there wasn't blood. Because back in 2018 at WrestleMania 30, whatever it was, the second one that was in New Orleans, they had no problem having Roman's face drenched in blood. So I don't know why they didn't have brought the blood for this match. They really should have. I will say that much. There should have been blood in this match. And I think most people probably would have enjoyed the match a lot more if there was blood in it. So they eventually get back into the ring, and Brock gets Roman up into an F5. Roman manages to get out, and he pushes Roman over to where the ref is in one of the corners. Brock manages to stop himself, but then Roman spears Brock into the corner, obviously taking down the ref with him. And then while the ref is down, Roman gets in with a low blow. And then Paul Heyman hands him the Universal title. Roman hits him with it, then goes for the pin, near fall. Eventually, Roman goes for another spear that Brock counters into the Kimura, which every time we see the Kimura lock nowadays, I pop Bigfoot because Brock, I've noticed, never uses it anymore. If you guys remember when Brock first came back to WWE in 2012, that was his shtick, was that Kimura. They were leaning really hard with the UFC stuff at the time, and Brock would always use the Kimura in basically all of his matches. I think that sort of became his new finisher outside the F5. because I remember he used it a lot. He used it against John, and they mentioned how much devastating it was in PR. They did it with Triple H. They did this with Shawn Michaels. They did this with a lot of people. But then around the time he got the Universal Championship in like 2015, 2016, I think it was, he stopped using the move altogether. And like recently he started to bring it back a little bit. So every time he does bring back the Kimura, I always pop big for it because I always thought that was a cool ass submission. I always thought it was cool. So I always pop big for that one. So Roman's trying to struggle out there, and he's like, and the rope was like just barely out of reach. And then Paul Kelly pushes it a little bit, and Roman's finally able to grab at it. And then you hear Roman like, oh, my shoulder is separated. And then you have Paul like screaming, so like, your moment, you're my tribal chief. Rise up, my tribal chief. This is what your family is worth their whole lives for, my tribal chief. You want to know why I love this match so much? Him, Paul Heyman. He's the reason why I love this match so much, man. Listen to this man cry. He's like, my tribal chief, rise up, my tribal chief. I fucking love Paul Heyman, man. So now I don't know if this was legit. I think this was a storyline. He was just selling it because he did hit another spear where it looked like he was completely fine. But when he was lifting the tiles, he was only lifting up one fully and another one halfway. But he did manage to get both his arms up eventually. So I'm hoping to God he is not injured. God help this company if Roman is injured. They cannot afford Roman getting injured. And I swear to God, it's weird. It's also separated shoulder because that's what happened to Finn Balor when he won the Universal title at SummerSlam that year. So I pray to God this is all storyline and Roman isn't actually hurt. For the love of God, please just let this be storyline. I think it is, and Roman's just really good at his job, but crossing my fingers and knocking on wood, this is all storyline and he's not actually hurt. But anyway, Roman gets one last spear in. He also hit like another spear where he did like that bounce, that like running the ropes thing where he like runs the rope, called 54 Spirit, someone like he did with Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. What was that? 6, I think 6 or 35, I think it was. Whatever the one was in Tampa. And he did that with Roman, like with Undertaker, like a few times. He does that with Brock, but Brock was kind of out of position because Roman ended up spearing his back, and it more or less looked like a football tackle to me. But like the commentators are like, oh, he attacked the kidneys. It's just as effective. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. But yeah, man, that is where the show ends with Roman lifting up both championships. Pyro's going everywhere. No sign of The Rock. Maybe we'll get it at Raw tonight. Maybe that's when we'll finally see The Rock make its appearance, and that's when they'll start building their match at WrestleMania next year. Or maybe we're just not going to get The Rock at all. I would like to see that match with The Rock at WrestleMania. That'd be a cool match. But, yeah. That should be interesting. And with that, I'm looking forward to, I'm interested in Raw. And there should be interesting where that's going to be happening with that. But overall, guys, I am going to give Night 2 of WrestleMania 38. And I can't believe this number is actually leaving my eye. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever given a WWE pay-per-view that I've reviewed this high of a rating. I am going to give Night 2 a 10 out of fucking 10. Like I said, the highs of this night I thought were higher than the highs of last night, and the matches were just so good. I would probably say Night 1 probably had overall the better matches and overall the better card, but like I said, the matches that were here were just too damn good. And like I said, the highs for this night were higher than the highs of last night. That's just my personal opinion, guys. And overall, my final verdict for WrestleMania 38 is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. Jesus fucking Christ, have I ever even given a WWE pay-per-view that I've reviewed that high of a rating? My ratings have basically been stuck around 8s. I don't know. You guys will have to go back to my old reviews and older shows and see if I ever gave anything like a 9 or higher at any of the WWE pay-per-views that I've reviewed. But yeah, this, and after going back and looking at my WrestleMania review for last year's WrestleMania, yeah, this is definitely the best WrestleMania we've gotten since WrestleMania 31, man. This was a phenomenal show. And like I said, this was better than TakeOver, which I never thought I would ever say in my life, that a WWE, that a main roster show is better than a TakeOver, but here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, it is almost 2 in the goddamn morning while I'm recording this, guys. I'm gonna go the fuck to sleep. I got school tomorrow. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like, if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.